Hey, this is Erin Stern, and I wanted to talk a little bit about contest and having a post-contest plan. A lot of times we'll go into a show or we'll get ready for a shoot and get to that big day and not have any idea as to what to do afterwards. And I think it's important, and I'll address the mental aspects of dieting along with some of the things that we can do physically in order to get back to a life of balance and to avoid that weight roller coaster, because a lot of times we'll really heavily restrict the calories and then just kind of go crazy. And I have my sister filming, so she's being very quiet now. But I thought we would go back and forth and just sort of talk about some things that can be done, like I said, to establish that balance so that we don't get to a point of being more overweight or less in shape than we were before we even started dieting. So I think the main thing, number one, is to just have a plan. So have something a week after or 2 weeks after the big day that you have to stay in shape for. And I think it's important also to not cut out your cardio if you're doing a lot of cardio, and to not come off your diet completely. So to have some kind of structure afterwards.
What do you think is the biggest mistake competitors make after they come off their competition day?
I think not getting back into the gym. And I think a lot of people do quite a bit of cardio to get on stage, and to not do that and to add those additional carbs and the fats and everything that goes along with it, your body is just primed to store fat, or it's primed to build muscle. So get back in there, hit the weights hard, and especially if you have those objective goals for stage, which I think all competitors should have. It's not a matter of just going in and trying to win a show. It's a matter of, okay, well, for the next show I want to build my shoulders or my glute ham, the posterior chain to really pop more on stage, just to have those goals and to be able to work on those goals the week after the contest when you have those extra calories. I call it Beast Week, but there needs to be a plan in place.
So it's okay for you to replenish your body after competing.
Yes. Yeah, you need those extra calories because a lot of times it's low in fat, a lot of times you cut out carbs and you're just doing proteins for a while. So yeah, we need those, and especially as women, we need the extra calories and the extra body fat just to be able to function. So I think to know getting into it that a couple of days later the tan is going to fade. The increase of carbs, the increase of salt is going to lead to temporary water gain. For every carb that you take in, for every gram of carbs you take in, you're going to hold between 2 and 3 grams of water. So you think if you go on a food bender for a day or two, that's going to add up to a lot of holding water. So I think it's important to step away from the scale and then to know that you're going to go back to normal. You're not going to be stage shredded year round. I don't have veins popping out. I'm still lean, but I'm not going to be stage lean because I can't think straight, and I suck in the gym when I don't have calories.
So do you think it's advisable for a competitor, an athlete, to remain on a certain diet plan in the off season or in preparation for preparing for the next show?
I think it's important to make healthy food choices 80% of the time, and to have kind of a go-to plan. Yeah, I think that's important, but I think it's important to not call it a diet and it becomes a lifestyle. But if you want to have that sushi, if you want to have that pizza, we went to Golden Corral last night. We threw down pretty hard, and it's Thanksgiving. So it happens, but it's important to have that balance, to know that, yeah, you need, I think mentally, it's important to have those occasional treat meals. And then once your butt leaves that seat at the meal, you're done with it. You go back to just eating normally the day after. So it's not going through a diet where you're restricting heavily.
Okay, well, I know that when athletes are conditioning for shows, I know that there's certain foods that need to be avoided. How do they go about reintroducing, or can they have what they want when they want again? Or does this basically fall into the whole idea of finding your balance?
I think it goes to finding your balance because it's going to be an individual thing. For me, I don't do so well with wheat. I'm kind of okay with dairy, so I know that I should usually limit those. But there are times I just want ice cream and I have it. But I know 3 weeks before a show, I can't have that. So you're going to have this pendulum effect where you're dieting, you're pulling the pendulum, you're restricting, you're causing scarcity in your mind, and your body thinks it's starving. And you've got willpower and you have instinct. And your willpower is not going to override your instinct. It'll hold out for until you get to the show, and then your instinct is going to kick in after the show's over because everything is not off limits anymore and I can eat whatever I want. So a lot of people just shovel stuff in, and so it's important to let the pendulum swing back, but you're going to come back to balance and know that there are certain foods that you probably couldn't have going into a show, but they're okay to add back in moderation, and just to know that you can have this stuff anytime. And when you know you can have it anytime, you don't want it as much.
So you're saying moderation is key, striking a balance, keeping yourself in the gym because, like you said, there is no off season.
Right. There are days off, but there's no off season. And do have a plan after a show. Let yourself indulge for, even a couple of days, I think is fine. And as you ease back into the off season, have meals here and there where you have a treat again. Put a little cheese on your spaghetti squash, or have that frozen yogurt after leg day. I think it's okay, and I think it's important to keep doing a little bit of what you had been doing before the show. So if you've been doing your cardio, if you've been doing an hour, take it down to 45 minutes, take it down to 30 minutes, take it down to 15, ease back. Gradually add back in some calories. If you're doing 800 calories, heaven forbid, I don't think you should go below your basal metabolic rate. So if you're at a very, very low caloric intake, you're going to have to slowly bump it back up so your metabolism can readjust. And that's why it's important to keep a food log, I think, and to have a written plan so you know, okay, it's going to take my body a little bit of time to adjust because it's that pendulum, and we want to be here. We don't want to be going crazy.
This is true. Will you have a post-contest workout and meal plan available on your website soon?
Yes, that will be available. It'll be via ebook and available for instant download.
Great. Anything else you'd like to add?
Train hard and eat smart most of the time.